Welcome back to another Bellator fight prediction video. In this video, I'll be predicting some of the key fights for Bellator 243, Chandler versus Henderson 2. So without further ado, let's get to the first fight on the card that I'll be predicting. So in our first fight, we have a 175-pound contract weight feature fight of Sabah Homasi versus Curtis Millender. So look at this fight right here. Sabah Homasi is a very tough fight, a lot of power, strong, not the most technique, not the most well-rounded. It really doesn't stand out in too many areas, but he's tough. He got a pack a punch, got some good around the skill set. I think he was in the Tough House at one point, and he had a little stint in the UFC. I don't think he won any fights inside the UFC, but like I said, tough fighter, good heart, good power, and that's just about it. Going against Curtis Millender, you got Curtis Millender, who's a phenomenal striker, very long, very dangerous, got some submission skills as well. His main issue was that sometimes dealing with pressure, like skilled, technical pressuring fighters, and also his grappling, people take him down and submitting him. And looking at his fight, Sabah Homasi doesn't present anything that presents him too many issues. Like, he does, he got power, and that can always play a factor, gives him a puncher's chance. But really, Millender's taller, longer, rangier, faster, sharper, and like better in every area than Homasi. I see Curtis Millender just being longer, lankier, and it's like picking apart Homasi on the outside, on the inside, with elbows. Like, but really, I have to see him keeping that distance, don't allow Homasi to get in the range, land those big bombs, shooting up his legs, shooting up his body, throwing knees to the body, to the head, stepping knees to the body, to the head. And really just, like I said, just cutting up Homasi, busting him up, and just putting him away early in the first round. So in this fight, I got Curtis Millender via first round TKO. Now on to our next fight we have in the lightweight division, Miles Jury versus Georgi Karakhanyan. And look at this fight right here. You got two veterans of the game, two solid fighters. You can even say two underrated fighters, because some people might not know who Georgi Karakhanyan is, especially like fighters watching UFC or barely even that. You might not know who Georgi Karakhanyan, but Karakhanyan got some good wins on his record, and he's been there with some good guys, and he gave him a lot of people a lot of good work. So he's truly a high caliber guy, I think, and he's been champion in multiple organizations. So you put him in the UFC, I think he'll hold his own in the UFC. I'm not saying he'll go in there and be like top 10, top 15, but he could definitely give some top 10, top 15 guys some work in both lightweight and 145. But I don't think he'll be top 15 on us in the UFC. I don't think he'll fall in there right there just because of his skill set. You got Miles Jury, who was, I don't know if he definitely was ranked like high in the lightweight division one time, because he was such a highly touted prospect and was on the rise until he fought Cowboy Cerrone. Then that like pretty much stunned his steam, being went down to 145 and had like up and down success at 145, and then he retired and went to Bellator, and it was like 1-1 over Bellator. But either way, Miles Jury definitely was hot in the UFC at one point, and it was on the undefeated for a long period of time, and was on the Ultimate Fighter, and it was off the season due to injury, not because he lost on Ultimate Fighter because of the injury. But either way, Miles Jury, very solid fighter. Oh, then he did get a second. He had two stints in the UFC. The first stint went in the UFC in the Ultimate Fighter. It was due to injury, but in the second stint he lost in the Ultimate Fighter. It was no injury. He lost in the Ultimate Fighter. So either way, two solid fighters. But to get to the point of this one right here, I think Karakhanyan is a very dangerous fighter, but he's giving up height and reach significantly. I think he has like 68-inch reach versus a 73-inch reach for Jury, 5'11" height versus 5'8" height. So he's giving him height and reach. And Karakhanyan, a lot of his shots are winging shots. He's one of those fighters where I would kind of put him in the category like he's a fighter that can give everyone problems because he's well-rounded. But say if you are well-rounded too, you can shut off his areas, then he kind of becomes obsolete in a way. Like he goes against a high-level wrestler that maybe doesn't have the best submission defense, like say like Bubba Jenkins. He's a big problem for him because he got to strike Bubba Jenkins, and Bubba Jenkins tries to wrestle, he can submit Bubba Jenkins. So what I'm saying is that he's a problem for fighters that maybe have holes in their game or areas where they're weaker. But when guys like Miles Jury, who's well-rounded in every area as well, and I think Miles Jury's a better striker in his, like, given his height and reach, and the fact that he fights much longer than Karakhanyan. Karakhanyan is, like I say, wings a lot of shots. I'm not saying he's not technical, but his lot of shots are winging, and he's good with what he does. But Miles Jury's shots are quicker from A to B. Like, his shots get there quicker to A and B. A lot of good teeps, good jab, good straight. And like I say, there's longer shots, sharper shots, taller fighter, longer reach. Then, and usually in fights, Karakhanyan is the better grappler, at least like submission-wise. Like I say, in the Emmanuel Sanchez fight, Emmanuel Sanchez was just bigger and stronger than him, younger than him, was able to out-grapple those situations. But technically, a lot of times, Georgi Karakhanyan is rarely ever not the most technical grappler out there. So in this fight, he's fighting a longer, more technical striker and a more technical grappler for the first time. I just really think in this fight, Miles Jury just beats him in every avenue. Like, his punch is going to be short, like, they're going to be longer, but they're going to be quicker to A and B. Like, they're going to be less wind up, it's going to be less Like I said, like we know those straighter punches, they get there to the target quicker, is basically what I'm saying. And the fact that he's longer, throwing the shorter, longer shots. His shots can be beating Karakhanyan shots. He's going to use teeps to maintain his range, his kicks, his footwork. Also good footwork on Miles Jory as well. And like I said, he can just dominate, pick him apart on the feet, take him to the ground, get some positions, land some ground and pound. I think he actually gets a stoppage over Karakhanyan. I think he actually might go for submission, ground and pound him, get Karakhanyan to offer up a neck, a limb or something. And I think he taps him out in that second round. So in this fight, I got Miles Jory via second round submission. Now to our next fight, we have in our co-main event in the heavyweight division, Matt Mitrione versus Timothy Johnson. You got two former UFC standouts in the heavyweight division, like two former heavyweight standouts, both with a lot of power, both having their moments in Bellator. Like Matt Mitrione was hot when he first came to Bellator. It was looking like they were trying to, pretty much set him up to be a guy that could either, well, he did basically was in a position to contend for the title, but they were putting him up there pretty high, like, oh, Matt Mitrione can do this, can do that. I think at one point he was even a favorite over Ryan Bader for whatever reason, because I guess people just didn't really think about it. They just, oh, he a big heavyweight and blah, blah, blah. They forgot how trash his wrestling defense is and stuff. And that he's not even that great of a fighter to begin with. He's athletic and big and got power, and he's athletic and big and got power. But that's about it. He's not the most technical fighter. He definitely got more technique than I give him credit for, but grappling-wise, definitely a huge weakness in wrestling. And so he should have never been any bit of a favorite over Ryan Bader, and it should have always been big odds against him in that fight. And it played out just how it should have. Only difference that he didn't get finished. But either way, that's enough about Matt Mitrione. Timothy Johnson on the side, kind of like a barroom brawler. I'm not saying he really fights like a barroom brawler. He looks like one. His style could kind of be more of a technical barroom brawler type style. Like he'll get in the little dirty boxing, clinches and stuff, and put you against the cage. He got some big power, some big slugging shots. I don't think he really does too many kicks, but heavy hands. He'll smother you against the cage, especially if you can't wrestle. Get you in the clinch a lot, land some big shots, big power. And kind of how I'm going to go with this one is that I think Matt Mitrione, if you just go pure striking, Matt Mitrione is the better striker. He's lighter on his feet, picks his shots better, got a little better angles on the feet. But you go by MMA standards, I think overall Timothy Johnson is presents more threats and he can make this fight his fight. Because like I said, Matt Mitrione's wrestling defense is pretty mediocre. And now you're going against a fighter just as big as you, probably stronger than you as far as with like wrestling strength and grappling strength. Could put you against that cage and take away some of that little dancing, fluttery footwork of you. Put you against the cage, smother you, make you exhausted, land some punches in the clinch, maybe even go for a takedown. But Timothy Johnson, I really haven't seen him go for a takedown. But if any fight would be a good fight for him to go for takedowns, it'll be against Matt Mitrione. They'll be there all day and get an easy decision over Matt Mitrione. But that's probably not going to be the case. It's probably going to be a slugfest, which is going to allow it to be a 50-50 fight. But I feel like Timothy Johnson having that other, like I said, anytime a fight's kind of close in one aspect or it's seen as close, the person that has that other edge, I've always kind of leaned to them. Like Timothy Johnson definitely still has that high level wrestling background. I think he was D1 or D2. I don't know if he was All-American, I kind of forget, but he definitely has far more wrestling credentials than Matt Mitrione, like far more. And I definitely could easily out-wrestle Matt Mitrione, but I think it's mostly going to be like a fight where he kind of smothers Matt Mitrione, wears him out in the clinch, and probably be some decision. It'll be a slugfest, a lot of big shots taken, probably some rocks in there, but I don't think it'll be a finish in this fight. But I think it's more a fight where Timothy Johnson is a wet rag on Matt Mitrione at time, just zapping the power out of his hands and take away some of that footwork, going to his body and put him against the clinch and like wearing on him. Like I said, it'll be some slugfest at the time, but Timothy Johnson used that other the edge he has in his fight in the wrestling and grappling and in the clinch to wear on Matt Mitrione. Like I said, take the pop off him and take some of the little zap out of him, take some the bounce out of his legs and out of his step, take off his groove, and just pile up points in control time in a close competitive fight. But that will be the determining factor which separates Timothy Johnson from Matt Mitrione. So in this fight, I got Timothy Johnson via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in our main event in the lightweight division, former Bellator champion, lightweight champion Michael Chandler versus former WEC champion, lightweight champion, and UFC lightweight champion Ben Smooth Henderson 2. So these two fought before, I think it was like 2-3 years ago, maybe less, maybe more. I think it was 2-3 years max. I don't think it was that long ago, but it was some time ago. Now they're rematching. So how the first fight went, I'm going to say from the jump, I feel like Ben Henderson won the first fight, even though some people might say, oh, he was getting destroyed. He got hit with a big punch. He got rocked. He got suplexed. But that was like all in the first round. And that might sound like a 10-8 round, but it wasn't. Like, it was a lot of damage done, but it's not like Ben Henderson was just getting one-sided traffic. He was definitely taking the biggest blunt of those damage in the first round, but he was eating it all well and recovering well. And I think even by the end of the round, he was getting his groove back. Second round was like, I think a Chandler round, but Ben Henderson was very much in that second round. Then like third, fourth, and fifth, I feel was like all Ben Henderson rounds, especially the fifth round. Well, especially the fourth and fifth round in that fight. And that's why it was a split decision. I think Chandler did well early. And you go by street rules or street standards, it felt like that was a street fight. Ben Henderson would have won because Chandler was zapped. He was literally just diving on the leg like Johnny Hendricks in the second Lawler fight. At the end of the fight, he would just hold on to the leg, just trying to get a point decision. It was just getting punched in the body, knee in the stomach, and just hold on to the leg and diving for a takedown that he wasn't even getting. And like he was out of his gas, he was zapped and just trying to hold on for a decision. Like he couldn't see no finishing him no more. He wasn't trying to dig deep and end the fight off well. He was literally just digging deep to hold on the leg and coast around. I mean, survive to the bell because he felt like he did enough in maybe the first 2 rounds and probably got the third or could hope to have got the third. And he did on 2 judges' scorecards, and that was enough for him to get the win. But really looking at the fight, Michael Chandler started off well, but faded. And I'm looking at his fight now. Since the fight, Ben Henderson lost 1 more fight since that fight, but Chandler lost 2. In the fight that Ben Henderson lost, he lost the older pit bull. And kind of a close fight that really a lot didn't happen. It was like a fight where, how Ben Henderson fight, he fights technically, can be aggressive at times, but a lot of times he fight, like chooses to fight a more technical, safe fight. So those fights when you kind of fight in technical and safe, there's not a lot of points really been divvied out there because you're not really doing a lot of strikes or you're not really putting up the most value. You're not putting up the most risk. So it was a fight I think he probably should have won in my opinion, but it's a fight like, if it don't go your way, it don't go your way because you ain't do enough. And he ain't do enough in that fight, so it could have went either way. And it went the other way. It was a split decision fight against the older pit bull. But in Chandler's 2 losses, also since that loss to Chandler, he lost to Chandler, then immediately after he lost to the older pit bull in a very close fight. So he lost 2 close fights back to back. Then he won 2 fights dominantly. Then he won 2 fights close. So he's on a 4-fight winning streak, whereas Chandler just rebounded and is on a 1-fight winning streak. I think, as a matter of fact, after that, Chandler won like 3 fights. Immediately after that fight, he lost to Brett Primus, the weird leg injury. Then he went like on 3-fight winning streak and got his revenge on Brett Primus and won the belt back just to lose it to the younger pit bull, Patricio Pitbull, and got knocked out in the first round. So since then, he had 2 kind of bad losses. Like he got kicked in the leg and couldn't even stand up no more. So he lost the fight to Brett Primus. Yes, he avenged the loss, but that's still a loss in your record. And yes, it's something there that opponents get to pick at or look to find weaknesses in you or find avenues to victory over you in. And then the Pitbull fight, the Patricio Pitbull fight, he got knocked out in the first round. Yes, you could say he could have continued, but you got punched, your legs went to noodles, and you turned into a turtle, and you got hit with some punch. Like, you didn't go all the way out. You might have been able to survive, but it's not a good look, and you got stopped in the first round. So he got stopped 2 times since this fight. And look at those stuff that he lost. I'm not saying, I don't think Ben is going to necessarily take from the Patricio fight, where is he going to come out with a power shot and knock Michael Chandler out. I don't really see it happening. But I definitely think he could take from the Brett Primus fight, because Ben Henderson pretty much was the person who invented or put the spotlight on those low calf kicks. So he does it just about better than anyone else. And he's sneaky with it, very crafty with it, and he can land those on everybody. So that Michael Chandler, even in the second Brett Primus fight, or in a lot of fights since that, a couple fights since the first Brett Primus fight, anytime somebody attacks his leg now, it's like Chandler reacts to it much more now. So Ben Henderson's going to go for that, and he always goes for that. So that's going to be, the injury's still going to be there. It's not like you just completely ever recover from something like that. So Ben Henderson's definitely going to attack that leg. And it's definitely going to take some of the power off a bit, because Michael Chandler's an explosive power fighter. So anytime you can take something off the legs or make him react to legs, that takes off his power, takes off his timing, and that takes away from wrestling. That takes away his whole game. And that Ben Henderson is one of the best people at low calf kicks, and he's the guy who brought it to the spotlight. So I definitely think that's going to be a big factor in this game. Another reason to lean to Ben Henderson, he's going to attack that leg. He's going to be unorthodox, going to be creative like he always is, and give Michael Chandler a lot of different looks, make him have to worry about the leg, and that's going to take away from his takedowns, going to take away from his power. And I think Ben Henderson typically has the better cardio in the fight between his opponents. I don't think there's really anybody out there, or maybe only less, 5, 6, 7 people, well, probably 5 or less people from 155 on down who have better cardio, or better cardio than Ben Henderson. So in a 5-round fight, definitely lean to Ben Henderson in the later rounds in the long term, and in a high-paced fight, definitely lean to him having the cardio later. And I think early on, he's going to be putting money in the bank on that leg on Chandler, giving different angles, making him worry about that, give him those scares again. But I think it's going to be similar to the first fight. I think Chandler's going to come out and win the first round, but I don't think he's going to be as explosive as he was in the first round. In the first fight. But I think in that first round, he's probably going to give it up. But Ben Henderson's definitely going to attack that leg, and it's going to be affecting him early. Then this fight goes on. It's going to wear on Chandler as it goes on. Then probably second round, it's going to be a close round. It could go either way. Then I feel like third, fourth, and fifth gonna be clear Henderson round. I mean, I'm not saying it'll be super clear, but probably still competitive. But I feel like it's gonna be a round that the judges probably gonna lean to Henderson on, especially probably the fourth and fifth, just like in the first fight. But I feel like the Chandler's round won't be as big, but Henderson's rounds will be even bigger, and he'll probably still the second round and might give up that third, but fourth and fifth will fully be Henderson. I think he'll go knees to the body, those stepping knees to the body on Chandler, chew up the leg on Chandler, maybe mix up some head kicks, go high with it once he gets him so worried about the leg and go high. And Chandler, especially when he's worried about the leg, he will drop those hands. And I think he can come over top with a head kick. I don't think he'll get a stop it, but I think he'll have him worried. He might even land a good one, rock Chandler in this one, probably like in that fourth round. Then take it to the ground, land some ground and pound, and have Chandler just kind of survive to the fifth round. In the fifth round, I think Henderson gonna be fresh. Chandler gonna be worn with the knees to the body, his legs getting chewed up. And I think Henderson's gonna really start to unload and really run away with that round. But like I said, competitive fight. But I think with the losses that Chandler had and the damage he's taken and where his confidence is right now, and like I said, even the first fight, Henderson won. But I feel like right now, I just think the momentum is on Henderson's side. I think stylistically wise, Henderson has the tools that can definitely cause Chandler a lot of problems, especially in a 5-round fight. I think, like I said, in those later rounds, Henderson will fully run away with it. Competitive fight, fun fight. Maybe as good as the first, maybe not, but I got Henderson winning this one via decision. So in this fight, I got Benson Henderson via decision. And that concludes my fight predictions for some of the key fights for Bellator 243, Chandler versus Henderson 2. And as always, thanks for watching.